Stormboy returns to the races at Ramwick on Saturday in the Group 2 Skyline Stakes over 1,200 metres, with James MacDonald booked to ride. He is delighting us ahead of his reappearance, and his most recent trial at Rosehill was excellent. He quickened through the line very impressively to pull clear of the field by a dominant 6.3 lengths. His sectionals were super, and he hasn't missed a beat since.
Very excited to see Stormboy return to the races on Saturday. Obviously a quality colt, a quality individual. His most recent trial was very impressive. He's been sort of kept right up to the mark since then. So ready to resume where he finished off his last Magic Millions campaign. He's nice and forward for Saturday's race. I feel he's right on target. As I said, looking forward to seeing him back.
Prost will also line up in the Group 2 Skyline Stakes, and he is thriving ahead of Saturday. He made a huge impression to win the Group 3 Canterbury Stakes first up, and he's been holding his condition well and looks terrific ahead of this intended assignment.
Prost has shown great progression since his most recent win. Very courageous performance. He did what he needed to on the day, and I feel he's open to a good deal of improvement off the back of that run, which he looks to have taken. So he's certainly going to be very competitive here. He's a quality colt in his own right, and I think we can expect a really promising run from him.
Just Fine is in great shape ahead of his return on Saturday in the Group 1 Chipping Norton Stakes with Regan Bayliss in the saddle. He was super last preparation, progressing to win the Group 1 Metropolitan Handicap in only his third start in Australia, which is a tremendous feat. Is he in for a big autumn?
Yeah, I feel he's in for an excellent campaign, Just Fine, but no doubt he's going to continue to improve off the back of Saturday's run, particularly as we can see him over a bit further later in the campaign. But he's in really good order. I thought his two trials to this point were certainly very, very solid. Meets a couple of horses that further into their campaign race fit at this stage, so they'll have that particular advantage, but I do think he's training well.
Autumn Ballet lines up in the Group 1 Surround Stakes, and you have applied the blinkers in an attempt to bring about further improvement from her first up run. She steps up in distance to 1,400 metres here, which she will relish, and Regan Bayliss will be positive from barrier 4 to get her rolling along into a prominent position.
Autumn Ballet gets the addition of blinkers for the first time, just looking for a couple of lengths improvement off her most recent start. She's certainly capable of performing better than what we saw. She's no doubt got the ability. She'll appreciate any given the track on Saturday. She'll enjoy those conditions, but I do think she's open to some nice improvement. Naturally, the 1,400 metres are going to be more positive for her as well.
Tropical Squall was super last preparation, progressing to win the Group 1 Flight Stakes, and she looks ready to fire in the Group 1 Surround Stakes with Adam Hieronymus, who will jump from barrier 2. We expect her to continue to improve with the benefit of a run under her belt as she stretches out over further this campaign. With that said, she's a quality filly, and with even luck in running, we expect her to be challenging at the finish.
Tropical Squall's in excellent order ahead of her return in the Group 1 Surround Stakes. She's Flight Stakes winner. Didn't quite see out the Oaks trip, but she's come back in tremendous shape. Physically, she looks much better and stronger this preparation. So I'm hoping to see further improvement. Saturday's an important race for her, and that'll dictate her path for the remainder of the campaign. But I feel she's in really good order.
Chateau Maraval gave us all such a thrill when winning with so much determination on debut. She showed a terrific attitude to knuckle down and repel a persistent challenger, and they pulled clear of the rest of the field, which is always a positive sign. We expect the step up in distance to 1,200 metres in the Group 2 Sweet Embrace Stakes to be right up her alley.
Chateau Maraval couldn't have been any more impressive on debut. She had to pull out plenty, but she was very tough and very courageous, and her professionalism got her over the line, and certainly her class as well. So stepping up in grade here, but she's back to the fillies division. I think she'll run very well and show some nice improvement off the back of that first debut run.
Coincide returns to the races at Flemington on Saturday to contest the English Sprint over 1,200 metres. He has settled into his new surroundings at Flemington extremely well since his arrival and looks terrific. He has the gate speed to overcome his wide draw in barrier 14, and Jai McNeil will get him rolling along into a prominent position.
It looks a nice race for Coincide to target here, a restricted race worth plenty of money for English graduates. He's travelled down in good order. His work prior to heading down was certainly nice, sharp work. I feel he's in good shape for a first up run. Obviously, first time up the straight, we'll certainly learn more about him. but I feel he's come back in great order this campaign.
4 Valor returns to the races to contest the benchmark 78 handicap over 1200 metres. He's in great shape ahead of his return on Saturday, and we were very pleased with his most recent trial, this time in at Werribee. We expect him to continue to improve with the benefit of a run under his belt, and as he stretches out over further this preparation. With that said, he is fit enough to be there, fighting at the finish.
No doubt, Valor will appreciate as he can just get over a little bit further later in his campaign. I feel he's very effective in that 14 to 1600 metre range, but he can perform well fresh. He looks in good shape and been pleased with his most recent trials.
Moving to Newcastle, where the stable has a couple of chances on Saturday, including Ditterich, who will line up in the maiden handicap over 1300 metres. He ran very well on debut and stuck on gamely to the line over a trip that we feel will prove to be significantly short of his best. Talk us through his chances.
Ditterich was excellent on debut. I thought there was plenty of merit to that performance, and I feel we've seen some nice improvement from him since then. The slight step up to 1200 metres on Saturday I think will be a positive for him. I think he'll appreciate having had that experience. He'll show the improvement for us, and certainly expect him to be very competitive.
Global Pivot has 2 encouraging trial performances under her belt ahead of the Class 1 maiden handicap over 1300 metres. This daughter of Piero broke her maiden last time in for Jonathan Munns and looks to have strengthened up beautifully over the last few months. Are you happy with her ahead of her first up assignment?
I feel Global Pivot's come back a much more seasoned and much stronger filly this time around. Certainly going off her trials, she looks that way as well. First up this preparation, she's a filly that's only going to continue to improve as she gets out over further this campaign, but I feel she's fit and ready for a solid first up performance.